I'm John Law, this is Chasing Cars, and today BMW has unveiled the XM Concept that gives us a peek into the future of the M brand. Now, the XM Concept is actually the first bespoke M car to come out of the division since the 1978 BMW M1. Now, you may be thinking these appear to share nothing at all visually, and I think you'd be right. But that's down to how far things have come in the last 50 years, because the BMW XM Concept is totally different from that supercar. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the design of the car, what's going to power it, and what the interior means for the future of BMW M products. Starting with how the XM looks, and on the surface, it is absolutely wild. Now, I like the front of it because BMW has transitioned back to using, I guess, what you'd call a landscape orientation kidney grille, as opposed to the portrait that you find in the latest BMW M3 and M4, and I think it looks chunky and good and interesting. Now, from the profile, the car does look a little bit more anonymous, so you don't have the traditional BMW design cues, though they have managed to integrate a bit of a Hofmeister kink there, which is a nice touch. But from the side, the bulging rear arches make it look a little bit like a Skoda Kodiaq, but maybe that's just me. You can let me know in the comments section down below. And of course, we haven't seen it in the flesh yet, and this isn't the final production version. When the XM does go into production in the USA in the end of 2022, I reckon the design will have tamed a little bit. However, we hope that doesn't happen to the rear taillights, because the visually light, very thin and crisp detailing back there is probably the highlight of this entire package. And we hope that new technology means that starts appearing on more cars. Now, there's some other newish, but not that cutting edge technology from BMW, because under the bonnet is a V8 that is supposed to produce 550 kilowatts of power and around 1,000 Newton meters of torque with the help of a couple of electric motors. Now, BMW hasn't exactly released details about this powertrain just yet in terms of how much battery capacity they have, how much the electric motors make, and how much the V8 makes. However, we do understand that it's going to be able to travel about 80 kilometers on electric-only range, which is pretty good and should help to cut some of the emissions from that petrol twin-turbo V8. But at least BMW has managed to keep around a bit of a combustion engine. Sure, it's not the straight six that featured in the original BMW M1, but at least there's going to be some bangs before M goes fully electric, presumably before the end of 2030. Now, probably the most interesting part of this car is the interior, because it seems to be a blend of all new and a bit old. For example, the seats are appointed in this brown, loose-fitting leather that looks like it's straight out of a 70s lounge room. You've also got the return of the iDrive rotary controller and a traditional gear stick, which is something you might not have expected to see from a BMW Concept with a bit of electrification. Again, there's two screens, one for your driving display and one for your touchscreen that will presumably run BMW's latest iDrive software. It all looks pretty crisp up front. It's definitely designed a bit like an M car. You've got bucket seats and all that sort of stuff. Some interestingly shaped vents are worth mentioning as well, but it's in the back where things start to get a little bit strange. The color scheme really departs. You've got this teal turquoise headliner and sort of a dark teal bench with this sort of plush cushion, and BMW are calling it their M Lounge, and that seems to be the case. It seems to be that front seat passengers have a focus on being secured and ready to drive, but the rear seat is all about relaxing. There's even a really cool trapezoidal kind of mountainscape headliner that really sets the car off from the inside. But of course, you can let me know what you think of the BMW XM in the comments section down below, whether you're looking forward to it coming to production in late 2022 in the USA with 550 kilowatts and 1,000 Newton meters of torque, and whether you want to see it come to Australia, perhaps a little bit after that. Let me know in the comments section down below. And while you're down there, why not hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and then head over to the Chasing Cars website where we have plenty more coverage on news about the BMW XM.